Well, it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen, for the Political Pulpit. I'm your host, Josh Navarrete, and it's good to be back here on the program. It's a little late tonight, but we're going to call this the Night Owl broadcast because there's a lot to get to. And it looks like the president has ramped up attacks in Iran, and it's kind of important. So let's jump into that when we come right back.
We pray for love and unity, and that the church would find new zeal and commitment to the mission and purpose of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
You're a liar! You're a liar!
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart.
Yes, you guessed it. We are still in a big fight, and it's only going to heat up. You can't possibly think that as we get closer and closer to the end time, that wars and rumors of wars will suddenly stop, because that's not how it works. As a matter of fact, it's going to increase. And I want you all to pay attention to not just your everyday lives. I mean, it's easy to get sucked into the busyness of life and go to work and come home and do dinner and homework and get back to school and do all the things. But what if I told you that it's gonna get worse, but you shouldn't be afraid, you should be ready. Thank you for joining us on the Political Pulpit. I want to remind everybody to go to www.politicalpulpit.com to get all of your news from a biblical perspective. We're not gonna give it to you from a biased perspective. We're gonna tell you exactly how it is. And we have some faith leaders in the community that are going to pour into your lives and give you exactly what's happening in the world from a biblical lens and a biblical world view, because that's extremely important. And then, of course, don't forget to join our newsletter. Once you get on that website, you know you're going to be prompted to join. So don't forget to join, and you will get all of the news right into your inbox. And, of course, thank you to all of our partners who have helped us get off the ground in the last 2 years and have stayed with us and helped expand who we are. Take a look at that at www.politicalpulpit.com/partner and find out how to join today. Then, of course, if you are watching us wherever it is, it's on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, or on OnlySource, you can subscribe, especially on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I don't know if you guys know this, but only 10% of subscribers actually get notified when we put up content. That's just how it is. So if you can jump in the comments and let us know where you're watching from, that will help us break through the algorithms. All right, I don't want to keep you guys up any later than it is. Even though you're doom scrolling, I want you to stop right there and listen to what's happening. The president has ramped up and escalated the war. Now, tell us what you think about that. Should we be involved? Should this be something that we should even play around with anymore? Has the job been completed? It sounded like Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was saying it's time to wrap it up, but it doesn't look like the president's going to wrap up anytime soon. So we're going to get into that as we speak right now. Let's pull up the first clip and let you have it as it's coming in. It says, breaking, B-1 bombers just dropped. This is hours ago. This is just happening not too long ago. Dropped 2,000-pound payloads into Iran. This is a big deal, guys. I don't know if you're not aware, or maybe you're just too busy, but I'm glad you're here because it's happening right now. Iran just threatened to hit British bases. This is where that World War III conversation gets in, because if Iran is like a crazed animal backed against the wall, they may just get desperate. So good luck. Our F-16s are locked and loaded. EU diplomats ordered to evacuate Iran, and they know something. Iran begs at the table, but Trump says, no deal. They haven't felt enough pain yet. Well, we'll see. Let you guys be the judge of that. Go ahead and play this clip for our viewers here.
Fox News alert, bombs away.
Tagdoon, tagdoon, tagdoon. Bakabro ya zamin, bakabro ya zamin.
Central Command delivering devastating blows against Iran. Targets include missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance sites, and air defense. B-1 bombers tore into the mullahs for the first time since the ceasefire. The long-range jets packed with 2,000-pound bombs flying at the speed of sound. Our electronic warfare aircraft also headed into theater, deployed out of Maine. They're stopping over in the UK. And it jams enemy communications, radars, and navigation. And they're only in the fight when it's a real one. Once Iran caught wind, they threatened to bomb the British base. Good luck. Our F-16 Wild Weasels are back in action. Their motto, first in, last out. You fly into enemy territory, detect radars, destroy them, and clear the battle space for everybody else. Trump wants revenge.
Karachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policy is an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price.
Marco says the mullahs
All right,
are
pause
on
it
their
right
knees
there. There's
and
a heavy
begging.
price to be paid, and it's happening as most of Americans are sleeping. What are we going to wake up to in the morning, and what is that going to do across the world? All eyes are on Iran and the president on what he's about to do next. Let us not forget they bombed with missiles an American base and killed 2 Americans and injured many, many others. As a matter of fact, I saw some clips today of the young woman that had passed away who had just joined not too long ago, and she's lost her life. I don't think that Iran in any other circumstance was being held accountable like they should have before. As a matter of fact, they were getting away with murder. They're still murdering their own people. They've since put people on trial, young people on trial who spoke against Iran, and now they're being held accountable by being hung in public. Capital murder, capital punishment, because they were speaking up against their government. Now, it's not our job, I believe, to police the world, but it's our job to protect America's best interest, especially when it comes to loss of life, a nuclear weapon, where they're very, very confident that when they get one, they will aim it at America. And that's not something that's brand new. We know that's the case, and many people argue the case that that's not going to happen. But there's also video of Hillary Clinton saying she's president, she's going to bomb Iran. It's been said and recorded many times over. I think the only one, like Obama, is the one that sent cash and arms to Iran for a nuclear deal that was an absolute disaster. Let's get to the next clip. This goes on to say, the conflict with Iran is rapidly escalating as the U.S. reportedly surges troops, military assets, and equipment to the region while expanding strikes deeper inside Iran territory. President Trump warned Iran and the Houthis they will face devastating consequences for any further attacks after Iran launched overnight strikes on U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Now, this is the clip. This is we watch him very closely because he's on the ground. He's boots on the ground, so he's right there. He knows what's going on, and he's got really good sources, but also can see the fights happening in the region. All right, let's go ahead and play it.
There are indications the war with Iran could escalate in the coming days. The Wall Street Journal reports the U.S. military is surging equipment, assets, medics, and even special forces to the region in preparation to give President Trump a variety of options moving forward. This does follow the 12th straight night of U.S. strikes against Iran. They have expanded the target list, not just going after positions near to the Strait of Hormuz, but also deeper inside of Iranian territory. According to CENTCOM, the recent strikes have focused on degrading Iran's ability to threaten vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, President Trump on Wednesday warned Iran directly, saying the United States would target one bridge or power plant anytime Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait. President Trump has also indicated a new warning is being issued to the Houthis in Yemen. He says that if Houthi forces attack additional vessels, that both Iran and the Houthis would face major military punishment. The warning comes after 2 Saudi-owned oil tankers were targeted by the Yemeni proxy group. The president spoke yesterday from Georgia about the ongoing conflict and the actions of Iranian officials.
We're likewise winning in the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're ensuring that they will never, ever be able to do to us what they've done to so many.
Overnight, Iran launched new
real,
attacks
pause
against
this
U.S.
really quick. Don't leave the screen yet. The other thing that you guys didn't understand is there's a lot of different pockets of fighters, and this is the issue with taking down a government like Iran. There's many factions of government leaders who think they're in charge, and so this could be a situation where you have negotiators and you have militias that are fighting and sending missiles. I believe, and I don't know what you all think, but I think that Iran has no government that's actually running the show. They have probably somewhat of a government, but it's not very well organized. And you got a faction of people that are sending missiles, and then you got others that are desperate and want to negotiate. And then you got those that are in between, and then the poor Iranian people that are suffering the consequences of war. I'm curious to know, those that are in the comments, let us know what you think. Should we continue this fight against Iran? And do you think that they are hiding more uranium and nuclear technologies that we have to go after? The truth is this, that if we let them get away with the nuclear technology that they hope to have, I believe they're going to point their missiles at the U.S. And not only that, they're trying to get away with tolling and taxing those in the Strait of Hormuz. And that is a very, very important piece to this puzzle, because oil is being traded in and out of that strait, out of that channel. And if it shuts down again, you already see the gas prices that go up. There's so many different things that could happen if this continues on. I hope that we can shut this down. And I start to think that the movement in Iran must be so big that we're not really wiping it out as quick as we'd all hope. It just seems like, all right, they're completely decimated. But then the next day, there's more to decimate. There's more missiles to launch. We have a facility here that literally makes missiles and ammunition and sells it to Israel and sells it to different countries. And I know workers that are working there now. They're having massive company-wide meetings. These are contractors. They're missile developers and manufacturers on how to ramp up production. So this doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. It's almost as if they're getting ready for something greater, something bigger. Will we wake up tomorrow morning or the next day in a greater battle and fight that we were ever ready for? And I think it's important that you all remember what the Bible says in the last days in Matthew chapter 24. You don't have to go to it now. We'll pull it up in a little bit later. But Matthew chapter 24, there'll be rumors of wars. Wars and rumors of wars. I know they don't want to call this a war. They want to call it an operation. But as long as they're firing back and hitting other targets that are important to us, and we are firing at them, this is somewhat of a war. Now, I trust the current administration that they are doing things in our best interests. Many people have different opinions, and I'm curious to know what you think of it. But the truth is, this has been well overdue. We've been waiting for this for a long time. We've allowed them to build munitions, to build their military, to bring in technology from China and possibly Russia. All of those things are being uncovered now. And I think we're going to find out that there's other countries that have their dirty hands in this war, and that's why it has to be completed. Go ahead and continue with this clip.
Bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated that Iran will continue to pay a heavy price for these actions and their unwillingness to make a deal about the strait.
These people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal. They send us messages through other countries, third countries. I mean, they're running out of countries to send. The problem is, every time these people do a deal, they either break it or after they make it, they want to change the deal. So they're probably not ready to do a deal yet, but they will be soon because the price they're paying is very high.
Here in Israel, there is a similar assessment that the conflict could escalate in the coming days. Many public bomb shelters have been opened as the Israelis prepare for the possibility of incoming Iranian missile fire.
So Jesus warns us of these wars. Kingdoms against kingdoms, nations against nations. This is all in God's plan. This was all meant to happen, and we're here. There would be, this is a characterization of the age that we're in, leading towards the end. The Iran war literally threatens a wider involvement of other countries. I think as time goes on, there could be instances that we find out China is involved. But let's look what's happening at the home front. There's still a battle within. Our immigration situation has been a massive debacle. The last 4 years, our border was wide open. People were flooding in. And now we're dealing with the consequences. And now we're on a big cleanup operation. And now that's a problem for some crazies on the left. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Tom Horn says, we're deportation maxing. That means, you guys, young people that are watching, you guys know what that is. I don't know what maxing is. And I hear it all the time. I guess it's just full throttle. You're going all the way. We're deporting everybody. Now remember, I specifically remember when there was we were involved in the elections in 2020, 2022, and I remember one politician who didn't make it. He said if we allow the government, the U.S. government, to deport everybody, they would deport the wrong people. Now that's somewhat true, but in this case, it's not hard to deport the right people, and we're there. We're deporting the right people because these are those that are awaiting trial, that lied their way through, that came in illegally. And there's a lot of evil people that are killing Americans and harming them that need to go. So this is a small microcosm, it's a small battle, a war within that's happening. Because now you have people fighting our law enforcement, who are ICE agents. And then you have the wars online, the keyboard warriors. It's nonstop. Do you have a clip? Go ahead and play this one.
And in June, we had the highest numbers of arrests in the history of the agency of ICE. And July is tracking to even beat that. So we're hitting on all cylinders now. We're deportation maxing. Since we're fully funded, we just got to keep going. And in June, we had the highest numbers.
So that's it. He's deportation maxing. This is the battle from within. We have a battle abroad. There's going to be a battle in the financial sector. Stock market seems to be doing good until it's not. And that could be a push of the button. I think that's where they're going to hit us hard if we're not careful. All right, next. LGBTQers are melting down over a new billboard in Lima, Ohio that says, "No child has two dads and no child has two moms." The LGBTQ community complains they are being targeted, claiming the sign is hateful. The billboard is attributed to the organization Them Before Us, a global movement defending children's rights to their mother and father. Them Before Us is firing back at the LGBTQ critics, saying that a mother and a father are a fact, not a feeling. What a great and true message. Yeah, of course they're going to freak out about that. There's another war that's happening. It's a culture war. For whatever reason, in the U.S., we're fighting a war about genders and the right to life and everybody's rights. The battles just keep stacking up, guys. The war keeps adding more to the pile. When is it going to break? When is it finally going to get out? Well, not finally. I don't want it to get out of control, but it just seems as this world is falling apart from within. Humanity is a mess, but it's all in God's plan. Go ahead and play it.
Billboard messages are getting pushed back in Lima.
It just makes me sad that this country has come to this.
This billboard on Elida Road near East Road shows the message in rainbow colors from the organization Them Before Us and says no child has two moms, no child has two dads.
And what bothers me about it is a child that sees this sign and either asks their parent and gets either the hate-filled version or they have to be explained to why people feel this way. And children have enough issues that they have to deal with.
Given, a candidate for Ohio House District 78 and a co-founder of the Lima Pride Alliance, says he believes the message targets the LGBTQ community.
Personally, I think it's just to stir up hatred and stir up debate since we're getting close to, election time.
Them Before Us appears to be based out of Seattle and has been running similar billboards in other cities, including here in Northwest Ohio. In a Substack post, the group pushes back on criticism, writing in part that a mother and a father are a fact, not a feeling. End quote. We do not get to rewrite words tied to a biological reality humanity has acknowledged for centuries because some adults want family to mean something new. Gibbons says LGBTQ plus families have also been stepping up to adopt, including children who are harder to place, and he has a message for the group behind the billboard.
Please stop.
Please stop. No, we got to continue on the fight because it's a battle. It's another war. It's a war within the war. It's not a physical war. It's a spiritual war. The Bible even talks to us about that we're not fighting a physical war. We're fighting a spiritual one. And somebody maybe can answer me this question. Why is it that the LGBT community is so focused on children? I mean, we just came out of a camp. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Camp Way out of Arizona. They call themselves a Christian camp, but they hire trans employees to suit up children on rock climbing, events or activities and zip lining activities, and trying to give them life principles and life lessons. That whole camp is a beautiful location. They are a disgrace. Campway, you're a disgrace. You're not a Christian camp, just saying. They have employees that are walking around with tails hanging out of their pants. That's Campway. Anyways, if you're watching us, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload new content and go live. And don't forget to visit us at www.politicalpulpit.com/partner. All right, let's pull up the next clip. Unreal, complete takeover. England, 1,730 mosques. In Saudi Arabia, has 0 churches. This is what suicidal empathy looks like. This is the problem with Christianity, is they went full God is love. And that's true. But an empathetic church, empathetic Christianity is a weak movement. It's actually not a movement. It's stagnant water. You're allowing bacteria and mold and spores and fungus and algae to set in without any conviction, any Holy Ghost backbone. So you don't stand up for what you believe in. You don't preach the gospel. You don't get involved in politics. You don't fight for good policy. And you have a massive takeover of people that say infidels shall be murdered or done away with. And they are moving in quickly. And they're taking over entire cities. Go ahead and pull up the next one. Zohran Mamdani attended Friday prayers at a mosque where the imam literally called for the killing of infidels, non-Muslims. Exactly what I just said. This did not get enough attention. It never does. This guy's like a superstar for the democratic socialists because they think he's got policies that are going to save America. But he's the very representation of what could destroy the fabric of everything our forefathers fought for. A Christian nation under God. It's unbelievable. Go ahead and play it.
Last Ramadan, I was with many of you here at the procession on the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali, alayhi salam. It is a privilege to be here with you once again. I stand before you as the first Muslim mayor in our city's history, and this year as the first Jummah that I have attended in that new position. And to do so together, it is a reminder that in this month of Ramadan, as we find moments of reflection, of
Oh,
recommitment,
stop it.
moments of community, that we always do so together. And it is together that I am thankful to be here today, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to lead our city. Salam alaikum.
You work not just for Muslims, you work for all of humanity and all of the residents of New York City. So we thank you very much for this, and we pray daily for your success in this journey, inshallah. Thank you.
وأسأل الله أن يصلي على.
Let me ask you a question. They pray for his success as if his policies and ideologies work in other nations. People are suppressed, women are tortured in some instances and dealt with by men very viciously. And they're praying for his success so that whatever they have in mind as a successful government, they're going to bring it to New York City. I just think that America is way too established. There's way too many solid Americans. The population, now I know this episode is about wars and rumors of wars and the potential fight that could spark World War III. But I think the American backbone is too strong. It is too Christian. It's very Christian. It's very God-centered. It's just, you know, if you look at the news and the media, it just seems so bad. But it's my job to get on here to sound the alarm, because I see things that many other people see, and you might be seeing it, that could lead to a deterioration of the American dream. But what I see happening here, especially with Mandami, because remember, we're in a battle. Not only is there a World War III kind of brewing, there's a battle abroad, there's a battle within, and there's a spiritual battle. But I see this man being like a savior for that movement. What happens to people like that? There could be a situation where he's attacked or threatened, God forbid killed, because I don't want to see anybody killed. But he could be a target, and they call him a martyr. And now it ignites a new base, a new fight, and a new war. I know there's others that are thinking the same thing, but I'm saying it here right on this show. Political Pulpit is, I think this man could end up being a target, and he may become a martyr for that movement. And then the fight continues. Now, God forbid anybody gets hurt, because that's not what we want to see, but it's almost predictable. It's almost predictable, guys. All right, next. Watch. U.S. Air Force successfully destroyed an Iranian long-range ballistic missile combo. So this is happening, guys. This is happening right now. Go ahead and play it. Almost like a video game. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, if that's real, they're taking on fire. That's ridiculous. But it looks pretty crazy. But so you're going to tell me we're not in a war? We're in a war, guys. This is a big deal. And I don't think they're going to just roll over and say we're done. Listen, I hope we make a deal. Like, let's get this deal done. Let's wrap it up like Michael Johnson, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said. Let's wrap this up. But in all reality, you killed a couple of Americans, and you're difficult. You're like almost brain dead. And you can't negotiate a good deal with America. you're going to get what's coming to you. Now, it's like, what's it going to do to the economy? Gas prices are a mess again, especially California. Arizona is like ridiculous. Let us know what the gas prices are in your area and let us know how it's going. But the truth is that if this gets dragged, like extended, who else is going to get involved? It's almost like one of those endless things. Like we never find, Iraq and Pakistan, the nuclear weapons. It's like over oil and access and deals and property and territory. It seems like one of those things, right? Well, we got to pray and believe that it's not, because that's the possibility. We could be in this fight for a long time. And then let's not forget midterms. Thank God Arizona woke up, man. All the good primary candidates won. But you think they're just going to stop fighting? You think that stuff is just going to be easy from here on out? No, we are in a battle. I'm going to say this all night long. Guys, we are in a fight. We need to keep our heads and our minds and our hearts, our spirits, our soul. We need to stay awake. We got to be prayerful. We got to be ready and understand what's going on. Not empathetic. All right, let's pull up the next one. B-1 bombers are launching from the UK. So now they're coming from the UK, guys. Tell me this is not a war. For the first time, and Iran now warning the British bases hosting them are legitimate targets. So now they're going to be pointing their missiles at the UK. Like, this is telling you. The U.S. says more than 50,000 American troops are now in the region as additional personnel, including combat medics, deployed to support operations. At the same time, U.S. forces carry out a 12th straight night of strikes. It's actually now 13 on Iranian military targets, while President Trump warned civilian infrastructure could be targeted if Iran continues threatening commercial shipping. So I'm assuming there's like these little militias, that got plenty of artillery and they're sending missiles towards our shipping, our commercial shipping, or it's actually not just ours, but it's others. You would think it's why? Why would you be doing something that's going to cause more harm to your country or even yourself? It's because they are not afraid to die. These people have a different level of conviction. It's fight till the bitter end, fight till death. I mean, in their minds, they're going to heaven where they're going to get 70 wives or something like that. It's unbelievable. Like we got to remember who we're fighting. It's not just a people. It's an ideology. It's a mindset that they're raised from a young age, that their goal is to fight for what they believe in, even until death, so that when they go to this heaven, they're going to receive so much and so many. And so that's why they're willing to shoot down commercial ships recklessly. Go ahead and play this.
These massive B-1 bombers, of course, carry a huge conventional payload of bombs that can be refueled from the air, and at least some of them are taking off from bases in the United Kingdom. Iran has now threatened the United Kingdom, saying those bases from which B-1s are taking off are now legitimate targets for Iran. As far as military personnel in the region, CENTCOM now saying there are more than 50,000 U.S. forces in the region, giving President Trump a wide range of options. Wall Street Journal reporting a surge in technical personnel, including 150 medics at Landstuhl Combat Medical Center in Germany. Of course, these medics trained to treat those wounded in combat. As far as U.S. attacks go, another night of attacks against Iranian military positions overnight. That's the 12th night in a row. Of course, the president has warned that civilian infrastructure targets could come under fire if Iran continues to harass commercial shipping in the region. No progress on the diplomatic front, despite the fact that Secretary of State Rubio says Iran is looking for a deal.
This is what he's talking about. Iran is begging us, okay, both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it.
And finally, after the Houthi terrorist separatists in Yemen claimed to have struck 2 Saudi tankers in the Red Sea. President Trump issuing another warning, saying the Houthis and their leaders in Iran could face tremendous military punishment if they further try to attack tankers in the Red Sea.
I mean, look at that headline. It says Trump will punish Iran. Right out of the gate, they're going to be punished. And they're on a 12, now 13-day punishment. And I just don't think that these people are capable of making a good deal. You guys tell us. Get in the comments. Do you think this is going to extend, or do you think we're close? You might even absolutely hate the idea that we're fighting with Iran. Talk to us about it. Let us know. Get in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, and let me know what you think. But the infrastructure that's being under attack, you would think they'd have nothing left. And I'm going to be honest here. I've heard the president say they're down to nothing, but yet somehow they find missiles to throw and kill Americans. So, and I'll repeat this part because it's a huge concern. There are contractors in the U.S. that are busy, missile contractors that are building missiles and ammunition nonstop, around the clock. I mean, we know employees right now that are doing overtime because they are just on full alert. And by the way, a lot of these missiles are going to Israel. Defense systems. I know this firsthand. So what's going on? What's happening? Do you think it's going to get worse? Are we at or nearing the end? Is this a end time fulfillment? Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Pull it up when you can. You know, Jesus warns us. That's good. Go ahead. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled. So I know this is about World War III, but I want you guys to realize something. God has a perfect plan for all of us. But he also tells us, Jesus tells us not to be troubled, for all these things must come to pass. So this has to happen. We shouldn't be shocked by what's going on. This has to happen. It even says there'll be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes. Venezuela, or what was it, Argentina or Venezuela? I mean, tragic. A double earthquake in the 7s. Destroyed buildings. People are still being rescued. Somebody after 28 days, I think, was rescued today. And various places. That's so, Jesus warns us. Christians should be alert without becoming consumed by fear. Do not fear. I know this is about wars and rumors of wars and a potential World War III, but do not be afraid. Do not be afraid, guys. All right, what else we got? Next clip. So, the Iran war is I feel like it's kind of like the precursor to what could happen, because we still got nobody's talking about North Korea anymore. We had a small glimpse of what China was doing in our elections. They, released CIA's documentation about them meddling into our elections. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about that. But it's like there's a lot going on, and it could be concerning. President Trump just confirmed China is funding propaganda campaigns against data centers in America. He says that other nations are trying to get us to slow down, and they are spending a lot of money on propaganda, on press, PR, trying to convince everybody that this isn't a positive thing. If we do not do this, we're going to be left behind. These companies are spending tremendous amounts of money on the communities, the local communities. So I think it's important that we tell the local communities that, well, let's let the president talk. I'm not sure why they quoted it that way. Press play.
They're really spending a tremendous amount of money. In other words, for the governors in the room, you have great governors in this room, and these companies are spending tremendous amounts of money on the communities, the local communities. So I think it's important that we tell the local communities that, because other nations are trying to get us to slow down, and they're spending a lot of money on propaganda, on press, PR, trying to convince everybody that this isn't a positive thing. And if we don't do this, we're going to be left behind. And even communities compared to other communities. You have some communities that really want this. This isn't all negative stuff. You have communities that really want the data centers. And frankly, those are the smart communities, because it means tremendous numbers of jobs, very little actual disruption. And the ones that don't want it, the happiest people in the world are foreign countries, number one, and number two, other communities within our country, because they're begging for them to be there. And some of them are great communities, very, very
Pause.
Forward-looking.
Mr. President, I don't want more data centers in Arizona. There's too many. We have zero water. Like the Colorado River is at an all-time low, and our government is failing. Let me just talk about Arizona real quick and why we need Andy Biggs as governor. First of all, because Katie Hobbs is a disaster. She was a mouthpiece for the far left, and she's a terrible mouthpiece, by the way. She can't even get a sentence out without, she's near Joe Biden levels. Andy Biggs is the right governor for Arizona, because I believe we're going to see a better economy. We're going to vet some of these data centers and keep them in line, because we have, I think, over 100 data centers. Something ridiculous, by the way. Massive buildings that use tons of water. And the footprint of these buildings doesn't even, the ratio to the building and employee size, they're not hiring thousands of people like they say they are. Everything's automated. These are all computer systems. They're run remotely. Initially, you got contractors that are building them, but once they're built, it's not like they're employing a bunch of people. And it's destroying, we have a friend that bought a house out in Santan Valley, or it was East Mesa somewhere. It's a city in Arizona. And a couple of years later, we're talking about it's like 1,000 foot. I mean, I don't know how big it is, like 300 foot tall building right in his front yard. As soon as he walks out of his front door, I mean, this massive giant wall that they're going to paint murals on to make him feel better. And let's talk about the thermal heat that happens from these buildings. They hadn't even turned on the machines yet. They've done measurements of heat signatures in those areas, and it's hotter. Arizona gets 110 degrees in the summer and 100 degrees at night. And then you plant a data center next to a community, you're going to keep the community hot. Anyways, sorry, that's my rant. Next. Massive blow to Iran's military leadership. Confirmed reports from Iranian opposition outlets claim that the IRGC Quds Force commander, Ismail Khani, was among 23 senior IRGC officials allegedly killed in a U.S. strike targeting a key command and control facility. I mean, you think that's going to make them happy? Go ahead and play it. No, they're going to try to retaliate. We're going to hear about it tomorrow. That's a massive bomb. Yeah, we'll hear about this tomorrow. And they're going to put something out on their IRGC state media that they will avenge his death. This is why I feel like it's not going to end anytime soon. Next. The Secret Service is, so here's another thing, another battle. The Secret Service is reporting 10,000 threats, a 40% plus surge as President Trump is set to attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner tomorrow night and has faced multiple assassination attempts. Keep 47 safe at all costs tomorrow night. Trump is refusing to back down to the violent left. Play it.
Welcome back. The U.S. Secret Service now says it is facing the most dangerous threat environment in its history. Got about 10,000 threat investigations open so far just since the month of January. That's up 40% compared to the same period last year. Let's bring in Jonathan Fay, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security. Jonathan, I think a lot of people think Secret Service and they think security for the president of the United States. Their job, their portfolio goes much broader. Welcome back to the U.S. Secret Service.
All right, pause it. Make sure you don't have anything running in the background. That could be running slow. I don't know if it's sputtering for you guys. Okay. Well, the truth is that the president's under attack all the time, and I'm hoping and praying. We should all be praying for our leaders, guys. We should all be praying for our government leaders because God put them there, whether you like them or not. And the threats being up 40%, that's a big deal. Let's not forget his family or the vice president's family or any governmental leader. We got to be praying because they're on high alert. And I just hope that everybody in the Secret Service is on the up and up because, man, the last few times seemed very sketch. All right, next. Just now, President Trump informs Iran that America will begin seizing their cash to pay for any and all damages done to ships, cargo, or anything related thereto. The U.S. has over $2 billion of Iran's cash assets in our possession. Iran had the chance to get it back, but not anymore. U.S. stock market went down. Please let this statement serve to represent until further notice that from this point forth, any and all damages done to ships, cargo, or anything related thereto will be paid for by Iranian money. Go ahead and play it.
President Trump is warning of major military punishment if Iran-backed Houthi rebels continue threatening shipping in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, the Islamic Republic and Great Britain are exchanging harsh words. Chief International Correspondent Steve Harrigan live again in Tel Aviv tonight. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Brett. That's right. Iran's Revolutionary Guard making threats of its own, saying that air bases in Britain are legitimate targets due to the fact that U.S. B-1 bomber raids are taking place from air bases in Britain. The Revolutionary Guard saying now those bases could come under attack by Iran. Britain's government responding quickly. The UK stands ready 24/7 to defend itself. Of course, those B-1 bombers now in use carry a huge conventional payload, 75,000 pounds of weapons that can be refueled in the air. They don't have stealth capability. When you control the skies, you don't need stealth, and that's the case for much of Iran at this point. As far as U.S. forces go, the 12th night in a row last night, they hit military targets inside Iran. President
All right, we
Trump
covered
has
that already.
warned it's
think about this, guys. You got bombers coming out of Britain now. Am I the only one that thinks this is a huge deal? You'll hear about it tomorrow morning for a little bit until something else happens. But I just kind of saw some of this stuff happening. I'm like, wait a second. We got to get online and talk about this because I think things are heating up. What are they saying in the comments? All right. Christ spoke, behold, they made a statue of the beast and gave it life. AI. I can't see it. You guys got to help me out. Bring it up, as long as it's appropriate. Thank you. Christ spoke, behold, they made a statue of the beast and gave it life. AI, be shattered and be gone. You know what? That's also the data center situation. Think about that. They need these data centers to run AI. Where are they going to get the power from? Where are they going to get the water from? Supposedly there's, our Earth is like 70+% water, but we're running out of water. This is all a scheme. It's a plan. It's not only a war in the Middle East, a war within, a war spiritually, but it's a war within our own communities. We think bombs and nuclear weapons, but there's a battle going on, guys. What else is somebody else saying? Watching from Oklahoma, attending camp meeting. You're doing a super job, Pastor. Thank you. That's Bishop Bob Bartlett. Thank you, sir. You've always been amazing to us, and thank you for joining. Last one. Open the gates of hell, says Trump. Yeah. Let's knock them. I guess I just don't understand the scope of everything and how grand and how big Iran has grown. But every day, we're knocking out military bases and infrastructure, but they still got more to shoot missiles at people, it makes me wonder how long this is going to go on. I think we have one more clip. Yes? All right, let's do it. The scale of, here we go. The scale of the U.S. Air Force airlift to the Middle East is just massive today. This is just happening today, guys. Oh, the other day. Something about to go down. Let's take a look. You don't have to go full screen. Just play it there. You can see, yeah. There's a lot of activity happening, right? This is all of our planes. This is today. They're telling me it's today. Like, you guys are either doom scrolling or about to go to bed. This is a big deal. Stuff is happening. What is it going to look like when we wake up tomorrow? You guys tell me. Luke chapter 21, verse 25 through 26 says, distress among the nations. It's happening. It talks about nations being overwhelmed. I feel like other nations that are weaker than the U.S. and Iran and other nations surrounding will be weakened. It says, and there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth, distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. It almost describes a world with instability. There's immigration pressures, there's economic instability, there's international tension. That's going to produce a lot of anxiety with people. The church should respond, though, with certainty, boldness, clarity, prayer, hope. Show the love of God, but stand on truth. Tired of these sissy lala churches, man. Allowing evil to take over the communities. Look what Revelation chapter 6, verse 4 says. Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. We should be careful. We should be very careful on how we approach these wars. Current events show us that our lives are so fragile. Peace can be taken away from us so quickly. Violence can spread across nations in an instant. That's what this represents. Upheaval, uproar, uneasiness, war. That's what we're seeing. Look what the next scripture says. What should you do? What should we do? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 2 through 6. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. We're going to bed tonight, hopefully in peace. What's it going to look like tomorrow? Well, we should be, for when they say peace and safety, as the Bible says, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. If we truly see the tribulation, we won't be able to escape it. I believe God's going to take care of his people. But what are we going to see before the tribulation? How do you know that we're not going to see war here on American soil? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 2. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief. You are all sons of light and sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do. Churches, faith leaders, don't fall asleep on what's happening today. Bible says, but let us watch and be sober. Be sober. Be sober-minded. Be awake. And last but not least, check out Psalms chapter 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So, World War III, maybe. I think we're going to see a lot more happen, especially in these last 2 years of this administration. This may be our last chance. So, what do you and I do? We stay sober-minded. We stay vigilant. Keep your head up. Don't walk around depressed and scared and fearful. Be hopeful. Preach the gospel. We have to fight against the spiritual battles that we have. There's a war that's happening in the East. There's a war that's happening, culture wars that are happening in this country. There's a war against our kids, a war against Christianity, a war against our Christian foundations in this country. We are in a war. So World War III could be a war amongst nations, but we also have a battle here in our home front. Remember, if you guys are watching us, hit that like and share button and that subscribe button. Let us know where you're watching from. I want to thank everybody for joining us and getting into the news, getting into what's going on today. We're probably going to go live again tomorrow about what happens overnight, because this is day 13 of a battle that none of us signed up for, but here it is. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next time. God bless.